Hello everyone, hope all are doing good. This is the third session of our second lesson, Nutrition in Animals. Nutrition in Animals. So do you remember what we had learned last class? Yes, last class we had discussed about the two parts of the digestive system, that is the buccal cavity and the esophagus. So today we will begin with the next part of the digestive system, that is the stomach. So stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped organ and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. So, the shape of the stomach is somewhat like J in shape and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. And the inner lining of the stomach releases or secrete fluids such as mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juice. So, the inner lining of the stomach secrete fluids such as mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juice. When the food reaches the stomach, the mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juice act upon the food. So, through esophagus, food reaches the stomach. So, when the food reaches the stomach, this mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juice, they will act upon the food and help in digestion. And during digestion, strong chemicals are released. So, during digestion, strong chemicals are released. These chemicals may damage the stomach wall. So, these chemicals may damage the stomach wall. So, mucus protect the lining of the stomach. So, mucus protect the lining of the stomach. So, during digestion, strong chemicals are produced. So, these chemicals may damage the stomach wall. So, mucus protect the lining of the stomach. And along with the food we are taking, many bacteria will be there. So, whichever the food we are taking, along with the food, bacteria are there. So, hydrochloric acid kill the bacteria present in the food. So, hydrochloric acid will kill the bacteria that is present in our food, and it also helps in the digestion of protein. It also helps in the digestion of protein. And the digestive juice, what they will do means, they will break down the proteins into simple substances. So, proteins are broken down into simple substance using the digestive juices. So, when the food enters the stomach, this mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juice, they will act upon the food and helps in digestion. And during digestion, strong chemicals are released. These chemicals may damage the stomach wall. So, mucus protect the lining of the stomach. So, hydrochloric acid along with the food, bacteria will be there. This hydrochloric acid will kill the bacteria that is present in our food, and it also help in the digestion of proteins. And digestive juice is proteins are broken down into simple substances using the digestive juices. And in the stomach, the food is churned in the stomach. Churned means mixing. The food is mixed in the stomach, and most of the digestion or majority of the digestion takes place in the stomach. A majority of the digestion takes place in the stomach. The semi-digested food from the stomach reaches the next part known as the small intestine. So, from the stomach, the semi-digested food passes to the next part known as the small intestine. And this small intestine is highly coiled and it is about 7.5 meter length. So, small intestine is highly coiled and it is about 7.5 meter length. So, associated with the small intestine, there are two glands, that is the liver and the pancreas. So, liver and the pancreas are the two glands that is associated with the small intestine. So, first we will study about the liver. So, liver is a reddish brown gland and it is the largest gland in our body. So, liver is a reddish brown gland and it is the largest gland in our body. So, this liver secrete a fluid known as bile juice. So, liver secrete a fluid known as bile juice. So, liver secrete a fluid known as bile juice, and this bile juice is stored in a sac-like structure called gallbladder. So, this bile juice is stored in a sac-like structure called gallbladder, and from the gallbladder this bile juice is secreted in the small intestine. So from the gallbladder this bile juice is secreted in the small intestine, and this bile juice helps in the digestion of fats. So this bile juice help in the digestion of fats. And next one is the pancreas. So pancreas is also a gland that is associated with the small intestine, and pancreas also secrete a fluid known as pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice. So pancreas is also a gland that is associated with the small intestine. It secretes a fluid known as pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice act upon carbohydrate, fats and proteins and convert them into simpler form. So this pancreatic juice that is secreted from the pancreas convert carbohydrate, fats and proteins into simpler forms. And the small intestine also secrete a fluid known as intestinal juice. So small intestine itself will secrete a fluid known as intestinal juice. Intestinal juice. Intestinal juice. So small intestine itself will secrete a fluid known as intestinal juice. Intestinal juice convert carbohydrate into glucose. So carbohydrate is converted into glucose. So intestinal juice convert carbohydrate into glucose. Fats are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. So fats are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins are converted into amino acids. And proteins are converted into amino acids. So this intestinal juice convert carbohydrate into glucose, fats are converted into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins are converted into amino acids. So this is about the intestinal juice. The bile juice, pancreatic juice and the intestinal juice helps in completing the digestion. So from the small intestine itself, digestion is completed. So digestion is completed in the small intestine. So next we will study about the absorption in small intestine. Absorption in small intestine. So the walls of the small intestine has large number of finger-like projections called villi. So the walls of the small intestine have large number of finger-like projections called villi. Finger-like projections called villi. So the villi absorbs the digested food and it is carried to different parts of the body through the blood vessels. So small intestine, the walls of the small intestine is having finger-like projections called villi. This villi will absorb the digested food, transferred to different parts of the body through the blood vessels, and undigested food is transported to the next part known as the large intestine. So the finger-like projections that you can see in the small intestine is known as the villi. What is the function of villi? Means villi absorbs the digested food, transport into the different parts of the body through the blood vessels. The digested food is transported to the different parts of the body through the blood vessel, and this process is known as absorption. So the digested food is transported to different parts of the body through the blood vessels, and this process is known as absorption. And this digested food is used by the body, different parts of the body, and this process is known as assimilation. So this digested food is used by the different parts of the body, and that process is known as assimilation. Assimilation. So, two terms, what is absorption, what is assimilation. So, what is absorption? The digested food is transported to the different parts of the body through the blood vessel. That process is called absorption. That process is called absorption, and this digested food is used by the different parts of the body, and that process is called assimilation. And that process is called assimilation. Large intestine. The undigested food from the small intestine reaches the large intestine, and large intestine is wider and shorter than the small intestine, and it is about 1.5 meter long. It is about 1.5 meter long. So, undigested food from the small intestine reaches the large intestine, and it is wider and shorter than the small intestine, and it is about 1.5 meter long. And this large intestine absorbs water and some salt from the undigested food. So, from the undigested food, large intestine will absorb water and some salt, and this waste material is passed to the next part known as the rectum, and through the anus waste material is eliminated from our body. Waste material is eliminated from our body, and this process is called ejection. And this process is called ejection. So, the waste material is eliminated from our body. That process is called ejection. So, this is about the large intestine. Large intestine means the undigested waste from the small intestine passes to the large intestine. And large intestine, what they will do means water and some salt is absorbed from this undigested food. And the waste material, they will pass it to the next part known as the rectum. And through the anus, the waste material is eliminated from our body. And that process is known as ejection. That process is known as ejection. So by this we completed the digestion in humans. So before ending up, let's go for a quick recap. So we were studying about the digestion in human, which begins in the buccal cavity. So which begins in the buccal cavity, and the food is broken down into smaller particles in the buccal cavity. Then food passes to the next part known as the esophagus. So from the esophagus, the food is pushed into the stomach, and majority of the digestion takes place in the stomach. And this semi-digested food passes to the next part known as the small intestine, and digestion is completed in the small intestine. So this digested food with the help of villi passes to the different parts of the body through the blood vessels, and the undigested food passes to the next part known as the large intestine, and from the large intestine the waste material passes to the next part known as the rectum, and rectum is having an opening called anus, and through this anus the waste material is eliminated from our body, and waste material is known as the feces. Feces is eliminated from our body through the anus. So by this we complete the digestive system in human. So hope everybody followed me. See you next class. Thank you.